Okay, I'm not mad.
Yep.
That's good.
Nell Hall, was that Nell Bang?
Yeah.
Billy Barksdale.
No, that wasn't Al. That wasn't Al.
Gene Cunningham Briggs, Frankie Brunson, Ray Richburg, Karen Thompson Flynn, just Martin Marion Thompson, also passed away about a month ago. Wait, I'm gonna try something today. George was listening at the scene to tell us a story. And if everybody likes it, we'd like to see somebody else do a story that's happened in the future. And George is not trained or gracious enough to record this, put it on YouTube or something like that. So then we can't make it good, but at least take a look. If anybody didn't hear that, push your ear. Like that.
All right, please.
Can anybody think of any of the folks that might have passed away? Good. Okay. George, you ready? George has promised to tell us a story, pretty short, and he's also promised to get us out of here about 5:30 or something. I'll see how you do. I enjoyed this. I hope it works good. Thank you. Good.
Hey y'all, we got a special guest with us today, and we're gonna have to vote on what we're gonna call him. And he's not listening right now, but that's okay. I call him William Jackson Wild Bill Brewer. That's the name I got for him. So how many of y'all, we need to vote, because I'm going to mention his name a couple of times. Y'all need to decide what we're going to call him. Because a lot of people call him William, a lot of people call him Bill.
Let's call him Bill.
Oh, we got a Bill over here. How many Bills? That ain't enough. How many Williams? That's even less. Okay. Our guest is Bill Brewer today. What I was tasked to talk about was William and I were on see, I already messed up. Bill and I were on the baseball team in 1960. And we wound up playing for the Lower State Championship. But nobody knows about it, because in those days, baseball was like kind of what was left over in the spring near the end of the year. How many of y'all remember the band coming out and playing in a baseball game? How about, did the cheerleaders ever come out and cheer between the innings? Well, all the cheerleaders were already in the May court, so they were gone. So we didn't get much. We didn't get much coverage in the yearbooks. There was never anything in there but a few pictures, because they printed the yearbook the 1st of March, and baseball hadn't started yet. So they would say, all the baseball players go over to the gym. We'd go over there, and we get a jersey. Get one jersey and one bat and one cap. And we'd share it, and they'd take pictures of each one of us. And that's what went in. And when you go to the last page of the yearbook, it says baseball. It's got a bunch of pictures and that's it. But what you got there, brother?
Boy, sorry about that.
You gonna have to make me scream.
We don't have a handheld mic.
Okay.
Let me turn it down real quick.
All right. We're gonna get a little help here. But the bad thing about what I'm saying is baseball was our best sport and it got zero coverage. And we, in the 1950s, we had 7 or 8 conference champion teams. And a lot of y'all will recognize some of the names. I'm going to call out some of the names. I can't remember, I don't have all of them. But I mean, they were really, we had some really talented players. Our basketball program was pretty good and the football program was okay. But we actually won conference championships in baseball.
Put it on the shirt, right? Okay.
All right, can y'all hear me now? Oh, I can quit screaming. That'll be good. So in 1960, we were the Wall State runner-ups, and I was hoping some of the guys would be here today so we could reminisce a little bit. But I went around to all the players that were still alive, and we're going to write a book because it's really a good story. And I won't be able to do all that today, but we're going to write a book. So I went around talking to everybody I could find, and none of them could remember anything. I mean, it's like either one, Anyway, it was something else. But if y'all remember, I think most people in here were in the went to school in the 50s or the early 60s, along in there. But over the years, we had a lot of talented players. And a lot of these names y'all will know, and a lot of them are gone, but we had A.C. English, Buddy Spagna, Charles Hill, Gordon Rogers, Clarendon Coscray, he's here. Dickie Hyde, Joey Taylor, even going back further, Jimmy Thompson, Phil Kennedy, Jimmy Flowers, Travis Brown, Herman Ard, and that's just a few of the names that were in those pictures. But a lot of times the guys that were in the pictures in the yearbook, they didn't even come out for the team. They just wanted to get a picture of them. Anyway, but we had some great teams back in there, and I was looking forward to our senior year. I played a good bit on those other teams, and it was I was hoping it was going to be my year. And guess what? Do y'all remember mono? Mononucleosis. So they started to play baseball, and I'm in the hospital, and back in those days they put you in isolation, so nobody could come in, nobody could. It was hard. It was hard. Anyway, I was trying to figure out why I caught it. What kind of, how do you catch mono? Kissing. Kissing is right, but is that like when you kiss your sister or your mom? So what kind of kissing is it? Ain't nobody saying French kissing? Anyway, so I was trying to figure out when it happened. I had a girlfriend and she looked at me kind of funny. She didn't have it. So where did I get it? Well, it was funny. Then I remembered. It was one of them old girls from Somerton. So, anyway, the mono thing was tough, but there was some of these older players we're talking about. I remember Mike Southwell was one of the guys that was, he didn't play baseball, he was a football player. And there was a lot of these guys that went on to better things. Joey Taylor went to Clemson and set all kind of batting records, and a lot of them still stand today. So, but he couldn't make it today, but but my girlfriend was kind of she was a mess, but she always had her eyes on Ray Richburg. And then, this is even better, Russell Harrelson, she thought he looked like Robert Conrad on Wild Wild West. And I'm going like, I might be in trouble here. So I don't know how I was going to handle that, but anyway, I got that girlfriend back later on. I married her. Anyway, well, I'm going to talk about the team a little bit. We didn't have any hitters. Well, we had Billy Giddings was pretty good, and Matt Clemens was pretty good, but what Coach Mabry taught us is something now we call Billy ball. If you don't have hitters, you try to walk to get on base, you try to get hit with the ball, you bunt, you steal, you double steal. Mabry's favorite is suicide squeeze. And it happened to me in one game, and I'm on third, and John Edward Lee is batting, and he was one of our good guys. So with signals on, I take off from third. I'm coming toward home, and he missed the ball. That's why they call it suicide. This is the suicide squeeze that we use. And so that's the kind of, and we played good defense, but we just didn't have the hitters. So in 1960, when I was in the hospital, trying to get over all that kissing and stuff, they started the season, and we started out, lost a couple of games, but Bill Brewer was starting to come into his own then as our pitcher, and then we won some games, and I finally got back on the team, and I was still kind of weak from the kissing and stuff, but we ended up winning the conference. It's sometimes not how you start, it's how you finish, and we finished pretty good. So we go into the state playoffs, and the first team up is Olympia, right over here, high school, and that's a bunch of that was a mill town, a mill school in this area, and that's who we had to play. And luckily we didn't have to play them over here. We played them in Sumter at Riley Park. So Bill was pitching, and we went inning after inning. He was holding. They weren't getting any hits. We weren't getting any hits. And we finally got to like the 12th inning, and it's still 0. Everybody's got a 0. But that's when one of our miracles happened. I call it the throw that saved the season for us. They got a hit up the middle, and Ray Richburg was playing center field, and it got past him. And so he had to chase it down. But that runner was surrounding the bases, and if he scores, then the game's over. So Ray runs it down all the way to the fence, then he turns around and he just made a heave, like as hard as he could throw it, and he didn't know where it was going or anything. That was the first where it landed in John Edward Lee's glove, who was a cutoff man. And John Edward didn't have a strong arm, but somehow or other he turned and made a good throw to our catcher, who was Thomas Thigpen. Well, when Thomas got the ball, the runner was now approaching the plate. So Thomas stepped over in front of the plate a step or two, and they collided. And he had the ball, and he tagged him, and you could hear the collision. He tagged him out and also knocked him out. Because Thomas was, what you got? That's right. And the ambulance came and got the guy. He shouldn't have tried to run over Thomas, right? Thomas was the best athlete that in our time, to me, in all sports at that time. But anyway, so the ambulance came and got him. Ray still laying in center field. He threw so hard he pulled something in his, I don't know, he was laying out there, so we all gathered around. Martin Beeson was behind him. I was in left field, so we all came over there. And but the thing was that those throws, those miracles, saved the season. If that guy scores, then we're going home. But you know, Riley Park was so cheap, we start the 13th inning, they wouldn't turn the lights on. So they just called it a tie. Well, I was trying to say, you know, in the rule book of baseball, there ain't no ties. You play on, but we couldn't play on. So what were they going to do? We couldn't take the game up there, so 2 days later, they scheduled to start all over, a brand new game, and we played in St. Matthews this time. So I asked Coach about William had just pitched, Bill had just pitched, so I said I could do it, and he said, no, you know, you wasn't around the beginning of the year, you got that mono and all that kissing stuff, and so no, Bill's gonna pitch again. So he had 2 days rest, and he comes out, and of course he's not as strong as he was the first time in 13 innings, but he did held him pretty good. And about the middle of the game, it was 6-0, Olympia. But then we decided that we were going to hit a little bit finally after all that time. So we did. We had a little rally. We scored like 2 or 3 runs. So we got to the last inning. It was 6-3, and it was my turn to bat first. So I got a little single. Then Billy Giddings hit a double. Thomas Thigpen hit a double, and Leroy Lee hit a triple to clean the bases, and that was 6-6. So we got good battles coming up, but guess what Coach Mabry does? Time for the suicide squeeze. And Martin had led the game off. Martin Beeson led the game off with a triple, and Edward Smith was going to bunt him in, and he missed the bunt. So here we are, the same guy's batting. Edward Smith's batting again, and Mabry calls it again. And I said, you know, the next battle Mike could have got a hit anyway. But sure enough, this time Edward lays it down perfect. Leroy scores, and we go into the lower state. So that was Coach Mabry.
Yes.
Ray Richburg was sitting by him on the bench one time, and I was pitching, and this was the year before, and somebody hit the ball back, and I was lucky enough to snag it, And I was so happy that I said, that was a pretty good play. And I kind of jumped around a little bit, and maybe he didn't like that kind of stuff. He got mad, and Ray was sitting by him, and he knocked Ray back in the ditch. He said, oh, what's going on out there? And Ray was sitting there, and he didn't even pay attention. And looked around, and Ray was sitting there, little rain and Ray was back in the ditch. You know, Ray was one of the good guys, so I tell you what, he was always in the middle of something. Oh yeah, I will. Mickey Lau was on our team. He had transferred. He was a big hero at Swansea. Big school. I think they had like 11 people or something. So he transferred over to play baseball with us. And he didn't have a very good year, but we were over in Sumter. And they were calling Mickey all these names. He was about 6'7", 275 or 80. He was a big guy for that time in sports. But the other team was ranking him when he was pitching, and they called him Puzzle Gut because he had kind of a stomach, and he didn't like that. So when the game was over, he goes and gets Ray, hit Mickey, and hit Ray, and he goes and gets Mickey, and he gets a baseball bat, and he goes over to the old dugout, and he lights into them. He cusses them all out, including the coach. But he was so big, they were scared to do anything. And Ray standing there holding the bat, and Ray told me later, so I don't know what in the heck I was doing there, man. But but Mickey, he cussed them all out. Nobody came after him, right? So, and why he took Ray along with him, I'm not sure. But Ray he was always in the middle of something. So, anyway, we're at Lower State now. We're going to Moncks Corner and play the Berkeley Stags. I don't know if y'all remember, sometime in the 50s, we played them in football, and a big fight broke out. Dr. Joe Henry King was one of the main ones fighting. And then the conference wouldn't let us play them in football anymore. But anyway, they had won their division, we won ours, so we go to Moncks Corner. And the big field didn't have a fence. And Bill's pitching again, he's pitching a great game. And in after inning, we didn't score, they didn't score. And we got near the end of the game. They had this one guy, a left-handed guy, and he came up, I believe it was in the 9th inning. And he hit one, I was playing center field, he hit one, and when the ball hit the bat, we didn't use aluminum bats, sissy bats back then, we used wood bats. I knew it was, and I turned around, I turned my back and just started running away from the plate because I knew he had hit it. And I ran, I seemed like 100 yards, and I looked back and the ball was still up here somewhere. And so I couldn't catch up to it. It landed, and Martin Bigson, who was very, very fast, he come from right field and circled around. He cut it off and got it back to the infield, and we held him to a triple. So we still in the game, nothing. You want me to tell this, William? Bill?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. All right. So Bill got 2 outs on them, but they got the winning run on third. So the next batter hits a little old dribble, almost like a bunt. And Billy Giddings was playing third, and it went through his legs. Game over. That was it. 1-0. No, well, we had one more game. We came back to Manning. It was a 2 out of 3 series. So we came back to Manning, and finally Coach Mabry was going to let me pitch. I'd been waiting for like all that time in the hospital, like forever, seemed like. Anyway, so same group of people. And there again, we were doing our suicide squeeze, and a couple of them didn't work, and people got tagged out the plate. I was one of them. And so it was still nothing. And they hit, one of their guys hit a ball up the middle of the field, and it got past Edward Smith, and it got past, I think, whoever was in center field. It went all the way out to the bandstand. And by the time we got the ball back in, it was 2-0. So we were down. We did score a run later on in the game, but the game wound up 2-1 in their favor. And that was kind of a bit of pill to swallow, but that still would put us, there were only 4 teams left in the whole state, so that's where we finished. We were the runner-ups to the lower state. And to top it all off, we go on our senior trip, and guess who's on the floor in the hotel we're in right below us? The Berkeley Stags. And I was trying to figure some way to get back at them, but I didn't. I mean, anyway, that's not being very nice. I was thinking about planting some liquor in their room or something, and maybe they get in trouble. But anyway, all of this is just saying that the reason I wanted Bill to come today is I think it's time that we recognize he was the MVP of our team and MVP of the championship series, but nobody knew about it. So I think today we ought to. 65 years ago, almost, in this May, it'll be 65 years, I think that the Manning alumni, our group, ought to give him a round of applause for being the MVP. And damn, I wanted that award. But you know what? The right guy got it. That's all I got, folks. I got a little something here from Charles Stanley to close with. So I bet that's Bill's phone. They call him. Somebody wants to interview him. To close, y'all, I got let me let the MVP finish his conversation. Well, maybe not. All right, y'all, I'm going to finish with this from Charles Stanley. You can't change the clock. You can't roll back the calendar, but you still change your life, no matter what age you are. The situation isn't forever. It isn't for keeps. You can change your life now if you do it God's way. Thank you. Sambo.
George. About Thomas when he came to reunion and his wife took him home.
Yeah, at our 50th reunion, Thomas came. He was coming, and we were in the Thomas Dick Pen. We were in the Daisy Gamble, where we used to eat lunch. And so he was coming, and he got outside, and I guess he felt so bad he couldn't come in. So Bill and a couple of other guys went out to talk to him, and he just couldn't come in with us. And so a bunch of us didn't get to see him. So he, after his wife took him on home, and William was telling us about it, and he died the next Monday. So he didn't make number 50. What else, Bill? What have I left out?
Well, Care
Yeah, we talked, Karen, Thompson was in our class, and, we lost her this year along with Ray, and, anyway, I guess that's what you're gonna have when you get this age. But I don't know about y'all, I'm just glad to be able to get out of bed in the morning. You know, your foot hits the floor. First of all, I want to say a little prayer, and then I'll look around and see where I am. I'm home. And one foot will hit the floor, and I said, well, the arthritis, not too bad today. So, so I get up, and then the vertebrae in my back is healing up where it's broke. So, you know, that doesn't feel too bad. A little arthritis in your hand here. So what I'm thinking when I do all that, of course, then you got to go take all your pills and go to the bathroom. When we say all that, for us at our age, that's a really good day. And this is a really good day being with y'all. Thank you. That's right. At least 8 months. Sam, you're up. Hey, George.
You got 5 minutes for me when you get done there? You got 5 minutes for me when you get done?
5 minutes right now.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, we'll do 5 minutes right now. While I think about it,
Turn the mic on.
I know this is a buffet and a wait staff laying everything out, but they don't get tipped, so make sure be kind to the wait staff. There's a little on the table.
I'll get you out of here by I'll get you out by there. My name's Reese Parker. I'm one of those guards. I did not grow up in Caroline County, but I married in Clarendon County. And there are a lot of stories here that I tell you in the room that we get together. We all get together. It's filled with memories, a cloud of memories. Everybody asking about how is everybody, where is he now, et cetera, et cetera. Remember when that's it, memories floating out. I'm in the business of preserving them. Each of us have memories up here. Where do they go when we go? So a lot of you have memories, photos, slides, film, 8, 12, 16 millimeter, and also later videotapes. And I digitized all of that, put it on in digital file or put it on DVD. I've done it for a number of people. I love when they say, we watched your DVD and we cried. They're watching the kids back when kids were little. And so I want to do, anybody that has that interest, I'd like to talk to you. And it's a hobby. I'm trying to stay out of Linda's way. Stay out of Linda's way in my office and work on this. It's a lot of fun. So it's not something I push and try to do, but try to do it the best I can for anybody I do it for. And it's not like I'll do the best, and I'm not promising to be done with week, but it'll be done at a good price. Anyway, it's not private. Let me back up. It's a hobby. I do it, and then I say, what do you want to do next? And that's how I approach it. Okay. Anybody interested in getting a memory digitized, let me know. Thank you very much.
I'm going to help the language. I always got 2 things. Carol was also, I guess, she had been in the city. Y'all welcome her, my sister, we talked about it. And also my son is, he's got all of y'all on film. Whatever y'all are talking about, we don't know. And artificial intelligence. We're gonna have everything. And we'll be available to all of you, and we'll do that again for you on the computer. Exactly.
Is that it?
dismissed, but take your time, visit, whatever you want to do.
We had
Sit down and wait for a while.
56 people here together.